This is the Confirmation Bias by Andy Varallo, Matt Wright, Fabriana, Andriella, Zack, Raczka, and Nick Troise. So let's begin by answering the question, what is the confirmation bias? The confirmation bias is a process by which we gather information. It is our natural human tendency to find evidence to support our beliefs rather than find evidence which contradicts our beliefs. It's the way we think more like lawyers rather than scientists. We're constantly trying to prove ourselves correct rather than looking for the whole truth. So now let's take a look on how the confirmation bias works. It works by what we call the stick-slip effect. When we come across evidence that supports our beliefs, we tend to notice it, remember it better, and give it more weight. It sticks to our brains. However, when we come across evidence that opposes one of our worldview beliefs, we often fail to notice it, usually forget it, and don't weigh it as heavily. It slides off our minds. Let's take a look at the example of a confirmation bias. Say I have the belief that Eli Manning is the best quarterback in the NFL. If I come across the evidence that he has 2 Super Bowl wins, one of the highest fourth quarterback ratings recently, and has been part of some of the best plays in the NFL, such as his throw to Odell Beckham Jr. or David Tyree, that evidence is definitely going to stick because it supports my belief. However, if I were to come across the facts that he threw 27 interceptions last season, he's had a losing record 2 years in a row, and has an overall low quarterback rating, that evidence is probably going to slide off my mind since it contradicts my belief. So overall, what does the confirmation bias affect? It affects the way we gather evidence, our daily thoughts, and the way we interpret ourselves and events that happen in our lives. Basically, it affects our worldview beliefs and worldview hierarchy. The confirmation bias affects the way we gather evidence in several ways. First of all, it causes us to interpret vague evidence as support to our beliefs. For example, if I were to come across the fact that Eli Manning finished the season at a record of 8-8, 500, I would interpret that as a good thing because he didn't have more losses than wins because I believe he's the best quarterback in the NFL. Secondly, it causes us to not look for evidence that challenges our beliefs. Basically, when I'm looking at Eli Manning's stats, I'm not going to look down his interception marks for the season. Third, the confirmation bias affects the way we weigh evidence for and against our beliefs. If you presented me with the fact that Eli Manning threw X amount of touchdowns this season, I'm going to weigh that much more heavily than the amount of interceptions he threw. And finally, after we find proof for our beliefs, we often stop looking for evidence. When I look at the fact that Eli Manning has 2 Super Bowl wins and 2 Super Bowl MVPs, that's enough for me. I don't look for more evidence. The confirmation bias also affects our daily thoughts and the way we interpret things that occur in our lives. For example, if I have the belief that I'm a loser, I'm going to be looking for evidence and primarily see the evidence that would support that belief. I'm going to miss out and not notice the amazing friends that like me very much, or my loving family who cares about me, or the fact that I write for the newspaper or my honor roll grades. I'm not going to see these things because those things would contradict my belief that I'm a loser, which is very counterproductive thinking. Now that we know what the confirmation bias is, it's important that we fight against it so we can avoid counterproductive thinking. So how do we do that? Here's a list of things you could do to fight the confirmation bias. 1. Obviously, know it exists. 2. Put a belief of yours on paper and make a list of evidence that both for and against it to see it more clearly. 3rd, be objective and ask for fair questions. Next, share with others or consult with someone else who possesses a different belief from theirs and try to see things from their point of view. And finally, try to prove your thoughts false. Think of what facts would someone who disagree with your belief come up with and try to see things their way. Why is it important to know what the confirmation bias is? 1, because knowing what it is the first step to fighting it. It also helps us to recognize that we are not always right, no matter how much we may think we are. It also enables us to be more aware of our thoughts and worldview beliefs. And finally, it allows us to interpret evidence more fairly. Now we're going to look at our video depicting the confirmation bias. In our video, Annie possesses the belief that Miss Floyd hates her. Notice how the confirmation bias affects the way she looks for evidence, her daily thoughts, and her attitude and overall performance in the class.
That's good, that's good. I was just really complimenting her.
I can't believe it. I got a 59 again. Miss Vaughn hates me. I'm so done with her. She's such a terrible teacher. All she does is fail me. What did you get?
Oh, I don't have it with me, but I did like really bad. It was like a 90.
Are you kidding me? A 90? I'm failing for this class.
90's really bad for me. Like usually I do really well in this class too. I usually get like a 97.
How?
I don't know. I just study, I guess.
Awesome.
I do
Try to pay
too.
attention.
I do too, but Miss Vaughn always fails me.
Well, maybe you should talk to her.
Nice work.
I'm sure it's not like personal, you know?
No, I think it is. I think she doesn't like me.
Fabriana? X squared equals 8.
Oh my god, she hates me. She didn't even call on me. Like, that's so annoying. Like, she always calls on everyone else besides me.
Don't think too much about it. I'm sure that you're just overthinking it.
No, she really doesn't like me.
That'd be crazy if she didn't like you.
Well, she
You're a
doesn't.
very nice person.
Miss Valena doesn't think so. She didn't even help me. Like, she always says that. She'll, like, just tell me that I'm doing it wrong. Like, okay? Like, she didn't even, like, give me advice on how to fix it.
I don't know. I mean, it seemed like she was trying to help. I thought she was, like, trying to show you a different way to the problem. I don't think she was saying you were wrong.
Oh my god, did you hear what happened last weekend? What? So, like, all of my people
Oh my god! Annie! I'm in class! Annie, put it away!
My family love, I'm sorry!
That's 3 demerits!
I'm sorry Pandora went off.
Wasn't even a good song. No.
I got another bad grade. I got a 77 this time.
At least it's a little bit better. You know what? You want me to help you? Because I can totally help you study for this. And then I think that once you do really well, then you'll realize that Miss Sloan doesn't hate you.
Okay. Oh, so then it's just like +3 then, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's all you have to do, really. It's not that hard.
I don't know why I couldn't get it. Oh, okay.
It's just like paying attention and stuff. I mean, it's not that bad.
I got 97. Good job. Oh my god. I guess Miss Valena isn't that bad of a teacher and she doesn't hate me anymore.